The secret side of me, I never let you see. I keep it caged, but I can't control it. So stay away from me, the beast is ugly. I feel the rage and I just can't hold it. It's scratching on the walls, in the closet, in the halls. It comes awake and I can't control it. Hiding under the bed, in my body, in my head. Why won't somebody come and save me from this? Make it in. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I've become, the nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. My secret side I keep hid under lock and key. I keep it caged, but I can't control it. Cause if I let him out, he'll tear me up, break me down. Why won't somebody come and save me from this? Make it in. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I've become, the nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. I feel like a monster. It's hiding in the dark, its teeth are razor sharp. There's no escape for me, it wants my soul, it wants my heart. No one can hear me scream, maybe it's just a dream. Maybe it's inside of me. Stop this monster. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I've become, the nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I gotta lose control, it's something radical. I must confess that I feel like a monster. 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 I feel like a monster.
What's up, everyone? It's a nice Monday. I know I shouldn't been here today. I should have been here yesterday, but it seems like the more I try to integrate this, the more I try to get some time for myself. Everybody knows, and they come one by one and take their piece of time. It is quite strange that this happens, but this usually happens when one tries to do something, tries to accept some things, tries to integrate some things. Now, talking about integration, we're gonna talk about the shadow and the shadow integration and embracing one's shadow, which is usually the whole objective of a human being in the end, for them to become whole. Now, in case you don't know what the shadow is, it is a concept in psychology that was introduced by Carl Jung. I think you've heard about him by now. If you didn't heard about him, well, tough luck. He was a psychiatrist that did the same thing and process based on what history he has learned and understood the fact that the shadow exists, and this shadow refers to the parts of our personality that we tend to deny to repress or ignore, because for some kind of reason it is considered unacceptable to be like that, or unacceptable by the society or by ourselves. We consider it unacceptable, unworthy. We don't even accept that it can exist, this part of ours. And usually uh, they come back at us because you can't ignore a shadow for long without making a big fool of yourself. Because it has mostly what people think are negative traits. But if you go into those traits deeper and deeper, apparently you find some gold. Now, I don't know about this, and I know it's a difficult one. I've tried and failed many, 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 many times. But sometimes I do get some nuggets of wisdom. However, it does require a truthful volition to go there. Now, some of the traits that the shadow self can include is our anger, greed, jealousy, aggression, selfishness, and many more. Those that you don't want them to be present in a certain situation. However, you will see that they usually are, unless you are medicating yourself or are in a depression. That's one of the reasons why one gets into a depression, is because they're repressing these traits. Because for one reason or the other, you can feel some of these traits. Like you can feel like you should be angry, but it is not beautiful to be. It is not, let's say, civilized to be angry at some kind of thing that lingers around there, or to want to get someone or talk to someone or manage to achieve a certain, not to achieve a certain result, but manage to enter in an exchange with the same rules for both parties. This is one of the troubles in many confrontations, because many are saying one thing in one direction, someone else is doing something else in a parallel direction, so you are not even talking about the same subject. And the shadows do feel like, even though you're using the same words, you're not referring to the same things. However, you are trying to communicate with each other. Now, usually in these interactions, if one's shadow is huge and unexplored and ignored a lot, as they encounter another one's shadow, it is said that it can bring nothing but conflict, since the shadow is trying to express something that you don't know you want to express, and their shadow is trying to express something that they don't know they want to express. So you're trying to say some things while providing different associations with those things. And in those situations, maybe you are lying, maybe you are saying something good when it isn't. But now in today's society, it is not allowed to actually say those things. And this is where the repression comes on. Many psychologists that have an awareness of the shadow are quite aware that this these unresolved issues, these unaccepted, unexplored caves of our collective unconscious, which is the place where the shadow resides, and it is a collective one, as it is universal for each person and generations. There are unexplored parts that are left into the human experience from our ancestors, from our parents, from our laws, from where lies have been put through, for where people have been repressed, for where people have been forced. These kinds of things are shoved into the collective unconscious, and usually it lashes back. That's why we had all these great wars. It was due to proper understanding of ourselves and our neighbors. It is very troublesome, as we know we're reaching a point where a lot of things have been forbidden and repressed so that they were stuck again in the collective unconscious. And usually when the collective unconscious gets to a certain tipping point, well, you get wars, you get like unspoken aggression. Like it's usually the dawn, the fall of a civilization, or the fall of a certain lifestyle. And many, me included, but I already am still sedated, know that based on the events in the last 100 years or so, things have been getting more and more complicated, as interactions have become more and more complicated, and those interactions are not exposed. They remain repressed in the collective unconscious, as many are nowadays. These being repressed, it is only a matter of time until another sacrifice is required for things to be forgotten, because this is the only way we know how to get over things, is by forgetting them, shoving them there and forgetting this was the cause. Now this unconscious aspect of our personality is often expressed in our dreams, and they are projected onto others as well, instead of except integrating it for yourself. It is usually projected onto others. Now Carl Jung believed that the more we repress our shadow self, the more powerful it becomes, and the more likely it is to influence our behavior in ways we might not be aware of. And it might be completely true. I am quite certain of it that it is required if you when you reach a certain tipping point. It is quite important for people to be aware that at one point or another you will reach the time to watch your shadow, understand your shadow, to develop yourself. Because if not, again, it brings nothing but conflict. Now, Jung also believed that integrating the shadow self is an important process of the individuation, or the development of the self. By acknowledging and accepting our shadow self, we can become more balanced, whole, and self-aware individuals. Now, it's not an easy process. Nobody said it will. Because to be able to join that process, to do that process, to embark on that journey, you need courage. But also, since courage requires a great price, a great chance, a wild card for the whole process to be well written, to be worth it in the end. It is quite hard for people nowadays to understand that integrating that shadow, it is vital, because there is a lot being pushed out there, and we are being controlled more and more by others than we are controlling ourselves. And not even by others, it's by others' thoughts and others' actions. It's weird. It's weird, I know, but how many times did you click on something just because it had a thumbnail? How many times have you reacted in a different way just because someone reacted in that way as well? Your guilt. How are you been doing on the 1st of May? Have you been doing some deep barbecues? I would have done a barbecue. I would have loved a barbecue today. But I have to repress that as well. That is part of my shadow. Not doing a barbecue. But coughing instead. Some dog walking. Dog walking is important after all. For a good time, some connection with the outside, to be able to understand your surroundings and still be grounded where you are. It is quite good. I wish I would walking the dog. I wish I would be walking a dog, but I have no dog. One day, maybe one day, if I manage to integrate my shadow, I will be able to take care of a dog, have a dog, give something to the dog that they need to receive, and that is love, because that is what they offer as well. Dogs are the best. Step one, buy dog. I know. That's that's the biggest problem is buy dog, but it's hard to buy a dog when you don't know where you live, because you don't know if is this your place, is that your place, are you able to do this forever and ever, to remain in a place so you can take care of a dog. That is the shadow I'm talking about. Because I would love to walk a dog. I would love to go out with a dog. But I would know that there is a lot of responsibility and things that I still have to learn so I can have a dog. There are some directions I need to go. There are some things I also have to integrate, because there's always things, at least a base of things that you have to integrate so you can know, so you would be able to be yourself with a dog, with yourself, not just a dog, but to really rest as we talk to you, because now I don't even rest anymore. I just sleep, and not even sleep. I just close my eyes and wake them up and open them in the morning when the alarm sounds. And 10 minutes later, I open them again because, of course, I snooze my phone. And tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another day in which I work under the cave, under the earth, the man in the cave, which is another concept in Jungian psychology, if you believe it or not. It is, is it the man? Is it? No, I think it's Nietzsche. I think that was Nietzsche. Man in the cave. The man in the cave, which is, just give me 2 seconds because story. Plato. No, not the Plato one. Not the Plato one. But anyway, I am working in the cave tomorrow. And I have to go to the doctors tomorrow. Because, again, if you don't integrate the things properly, all the living things nowadays, if you don't properly integrate them, they tend to resurface in health problems, as well as you're not taking your care of yourself properly, as you're distracted. Usually, even when you're watching a movie, you're getting distracted. You're doing that thing where you're not even thinking about. Actually, you're not even watching the movie, but you're thinking about stuff relating to some of the things in the movies. That's when your shadow responds. When you're not actually living the movie anymore, living in communion with the characters. Well, that can happen as well if the actors are bad, but you're not living in a synthesis with the actors and with the movie, with the story, because some other things come into your mind, and you're going into those things which are not even important in that moment when you're doing that. And when you're watching a movie, which was the time you allotted to yourself to watch a story. And this trickles down into many, many things. throughout time. It's not a unique thing for humans to do this. We usually get distracted, and in my let's call it research, which is a very very not research thing, but as a prophet, you do things in a situation, in a different way, in which you have to accept that some things are not really put in properly, some things are actually described differently, as are, let's say, aborted in a different manner, in a parallel manner, instead of a healthy one.
Pigs
Now, an example of this will be slaughter pigs. Now, I will show you a movie. It's not very disgusting, but it's a little sad. And you will see here how slight changes in how you're angling things can really ignore some of the things. So let's give it a look.
Pigs are smart, social, and empathetic animals. Their intelligence has been compared to dogs, orangutans, and 3-year-old children.
Wait, same as most of the animals, but this is what we have to eat.
The uniqueness of pigs could have resulted in greater care. Instead, it has resulted in an invention so inhumane that it has to be seen to be believed. You see, for most pigs in Australia, their final moments will be spent in a gas chamber.
Which is pretty weird.
You didn't know, did you?
Feel sad right now? You have to feel
In
sad.
Australia, pigs must be rendered unconscious before they are killed. Abattoirs and the equipment within them are deliberately designed to kill large numbers of animals in a short space of time. For pigs, this has seen a deadly Ferris wheel invented. Herded into gondolas, frightened pigs are lowered into a gas chamber that is filled with carbon dioxide. The animals panic in the gas as their nostrils, throats, and lungs begin to burn. Many scream and struggle for air for up to 30 seconds until they collapse unconscious.
Pretty weird, right?
They are then tipped out onto a bench, hung from shackles, and their throats slit. You didn't know, did you? And now you can understand why the pig industry doesn't want you to know. There's a far kinder choice. Choose compassion. Choose meat-free.
All of this might be, I don't know, it's on YouTube. It's apparently, let's see if it's safe for kids. Yeah, it is.
Pigs
We get no
are smart.
things that are. It is from Animals Australia, which apparently they have gas chambers. I wouldn't expect less from the prison country. The only way for them to do it is to gas them first and then cut them. It is very stupid indeed. They usually are tased in other countries. Are tased. But here's the shadow side of this thing. Now, of course, pigs are smart, social, and empathetic animals, just like all mammals. They're they are not. They're trying to make them more humane, more human. They're comparing it to animal dogs. Oh, you love dogs, don't you? And orangutans, oh, they're cute. And 3-year-old children. So it's like you're actually putting children in the slaughterhouse. That's the approach they're having, the angle you're giving in the shadow. Like, I understand animal cruelty is not a cool thing, and this kind of thing horrifies me as well, having them with gas things. However, many pigs, in normal situations, in farms, they are not quite aware if you're doing it humanely, like you're shooting them humanely. They don't have time, they die, and the other pigs are not scared of seeing a different pig, a dead pig next to them, but they will see some kind of food next to them, and they will say, "Oh, this is new food over here," and they might start eating around. That's the thing they don't tell you. Like, if you will slaughter one and have another pig come, they won't even understand that it's a dead pig. That's one of the things they don't tell you. But at the same time, but this invention, it is inhumane. I don't think it is. Alright, let me just go here.
It's a far kinder choice.
It says that there is a far kinder choice. Like, it's the only option. They'll tell you this is the polar opposite. Just
Kinder choice. Choose compassion.
the other way is to be compassionate. Like, either you're not able to do your job and feed the country, or you can be compassionate while equating it with
Choose meat free.
meat free. Now, compassion doesn't always mean meat free, and it is one of the way of trying to tell you that if you are eating meat, you are not compassionate. However, the only thing you can say when you do say choose compassion is by understanding, like,
Choose compassion.
you cannot find a more compassionate way to do this properly, a more humane way to actually end a pig's life. It is fucked up, but not just what they do, is how it is pointed towards other ones. Like, this is before cutting their throats. Like, they do an incision, and that they have to be unconscious by that time. And I find it hard to believe that, to accept that we live in 2023 and we still haven't found out a good chemical composition to just make them unconscious without hurting them, without making them very so terrified of dying. This is the shadow side of living in today's civilization, because oh, you're promising rockets to Mars, you're saying, oh, you're the pinnacle of democracy or pinnacle of human invention and everything, but at the same time you are doing horrifying things just to provide meat to other humans, so you can get some profit. Now, one of the things that should be taken from this, and what I've learned a few while ago, is to actually enjoy your food. Not enjoy your food, like eat as much as you can and leave as less as you can to spare, because for some of these creatures, their sacrifice, their death, should be more, at least appreciated, should not be in vain. Because one of the things, I think we all do this at some point, we have a lot of meat, but not just meat, but food that stays in the fridge, and then it is thrown away because we take more than we should and do less with it. And in those cases, it is learning how to optimize a good food schedule and food quantity, the one that is enough for you to, let's say, be full. It is enough for your body to not to regenerate, to do all its things, and not have an excess of it. So it could just be stored there as a wasted energy. A wasted energy that will be thrown out, or will be wasting more energy, as the meat might go bad, so it might start to smell. It might start to smell in your fridge, and so you will have to use more energy to clean the fridge, and then you need to eat more food to compensate. And at the same time, it is creating a bad system of actually eating. The whole process of eating was supposed to be only that. Take the most out of what you're eating, which is why people are recommending when one eats, it should be better to eat without being in front of the screen. Like, I know it is quite a bizarre thing to say in 2023, when I'm also doing this, but sometimes I do remember it and just sit by myself and eat, as that way your body will know that it has actually consumed the food. It is aware that it has consumed the food, and you're properly optimizing your intake. But another lie, let's say, I won't call it a lie, it's just that some of these things are changed little by little by little as time passes through, as people learn to accept it or debate it, or not accept it, but then are forced to accept it as it is what it is. I was sometime, for most of my life, I was thinking that we as humans are living in a civilization, and the civilization is dying somehow. But then I realized that, dude, we're not. The only thing we are now is the remnants of dead civilizations. So, what is a civilization? In the end, what is a civilization? Well, a civilization is defined usually by a complex and organized society characterized by significant advances in various areas such as art, science, technology, social organization, and political systems. Now, judging by the advances in art nowadays, if you remember the bean girl, bean art. Do you want to see the bean art again? No, I cannot show you that again. However, judging by the advances in our art today, because we have we seen some good art recently? Have we had some advances in art? I understand that we had AI and we have AI. People don't like it, but it is part of ourselves. Like, it looks very artistic. I'm not saying it's quite art, because at the end of the day, art as well does imply a lot of skill and a lot of connections with the human soul. Though it does look pretty dope. I've shown you before some artists over there, some AI artists over there, are doing some pretty good stuff. But in the AI case as well, you can be, that art can be, of course, presented by prompts. It is created by prompts. And some of those prompts have been improperly described. Some of those concepts that have been introduced into the AI have been improperly described. As we know with AI, that there are some biases coded into it for it to not be very real and logical, completely real and logical and impartial. It has to be. It was coded in it that are some things that they have to do, and they have to, let's say, respect women, climate change. It is very, very good. It is very, very good to talk about climate change and stuff. And it is not allowed for you to say something against those things. And the AI won't help you against those things. It will help you if you learn how to dodge it. Like, I see a lot of dodgers in the AI asking about, let's say, torrents. about torrent sites, and the AI doesn't give you torrent site. However, apparently if you ask it to tell you the sites that you should not go to get torrents, he will give you all the sites that you need, the best results. It is a little bit of play here, but it's not just art and AI that has seen no significant advances. Science as well have seen barely any advances, other than hey, we are on a rock, on an old rock, and now we can tell you how old that rock is, and we want to go to a different rock. That's basically our science. And technology instead has been advanced. I think we can all agree has advanced a little bit, but our, let's say, our body and our mind in our shadow cannot and did not keep up with it, as we learned to use this technology in the worst way possible. Because hey, we're humans after all. We got internet, we start looking for naked bodies, naked girls, and that's what stirred, if you remember, that's what stirred the whole internet thing. And then of course money, and boom, the publicity started, and everyone thought the internet was the answer to the questions. But if you will to be honest, the internet is actually answering the most unimportant questions that you can have nowadays, because on the internet as well there are elites that can decide what is and what is not good, and the other social places where you can see if that is good or not, and debate if that is good or not, are suppressed one by one, because you don't want to have a different opinion. You don't want to actually accept what's going on in the world and present to yourself, have a clearer picture what is going on in the world and around you, around humans. And what are they trying to do into your, let's say, into your neighborhood, into your area? You are not allowed to search for that in case you don't like it, because let's say those spaces, those persons that are changing their identities, they're transforming from humans to prophets, or from girls to boys. Those things are not allowed to say no, so you have to accept everything they're telling you and everything they're shoving into your face. But hey, that's life. That is another thing people must accept and integrate in today's world for some kind of reason, when there are so many things that still need advances, and to get advances you need a civilization, and to have a civilization you need for people to be connected, actually connected, to connect with each other, because that's the only way advances can be made, by making two different ideas and molding it into a good one, into a better one. Now, the only thing that characterizes our civilization, if we can call it a civilization, and where we live, we're not a civilization. We're living in civilizations. Okay, apparently. Now, the only thing that can relate us to a civilization is a large population, with people living in cities or urban centers and engaging in specialized occupations such as farming, manufacturing, trade, or administration. Now, this is what is part of a civilization, but does not define a civilization. Just because we have a large population, that does not mean that we are part of a civilization. We are part of a dead civilization, because let's not forget, God is dead, and we killed him. And now we still think that we are people of God. We are gods ourselves, and we are living with our we are our brothers, right? We are, well, normally we are, theoretically we are, in the front of God we are, but we're just ejecting that kind of truth and actually trying to describe that we are as good as our neighbors, actually better than our neighbors, which is truly not true, for we are all the same in the face of God in the end. Even if he exists, even if he not, even if you believe it so to be so, even if you do not, it is, after all, each one's choice at the end of the day. But it does not feel, and of course it does not feel, because when you're integrating the fact that you are not living in a civilization anymore, you're not part of a civilization anymore, you might be a little more aware of the fact that you either can search for one, create a part of one, and be a part of one, or not be a part of anything. But you can do that without thinking that you are part of something that is not there. And since you're thinking you're part of that, you can assume at the same time, you can assume that you have certain rights in regards to others people's individual action towards themselves, not towards other people, because that is different. That's a different thing. That's actually part of being able to understand what is good and what is bad. For it is a long time since we have stopped believing in the soul, even though for thousands of years people still thought that exists, and it is indeed God's breath, our soul. Nietzsche said that God died, but Nietzsche as well went into the integration process, went into the shadow, and nobody knows if he still got out, because he did go insane in the end. And this is my biggest fear, and a warning when getting and dealing with the shadow and getting into the darkness is that usually if you go alone, you might not come out at the other end a sane person, a mentally sane person. You can see and be everything, but not sane anymore. That's why you usually need a civilization. You need to have like something that you can come back to, that you can strive to get back to. And that's why people are not doing that anymore, and people are afraid of going into that, because if you might get into the shadow, all right, you might understand everything, you might become more whole, you are integrating your aggression, you're in the darkness, you're in the desert, and might find it better to be there than actually be around your fellow humans. And that is the crux of the situation, when in that darkness is the only weapon that can kill Amanita, that can overcome Amanita and integrate Amanita in our daily lives. And I told you, when all this started and all this cell started, it's been at least a year since I've understood a little bit what Amanita is, and how it is this thing that we all feel, that we all know, that is pushing a little bit into our space, that is trying to take some things, making us weaker. Not a lot, but day by day it feels like it drains something, like it takes something. It's usually pushing you with a smile while stealing your wallet and telling you you're a bad person, that you've noticed, that you're a bad person, that you are not willing to be taking advantage of, that you should be happy that you are being even acknowledged by this, and your money is her money anyway. This is the true concept of the shadow and the civilization of today, because let's be honest, are there people that are other people, like generations to come, aspire to be like? Do you have let's say a hero? Because usually, if you don't know the hero's journey, you can do the hero's journey if you want to go into the darkness, into the abyss, as all the books are focused on. Most of the books, even Game of Thrones, at the end of the season, at the end of the series, became a hero's journey where you go into the shadow, you fight the monsters, and then you can come back with the gifts and share it with the world, usually. Don't you? You come back and you share some things that you found out with with your people. You save them, or you do the bodies. Yeah, Naruto as well. Well, Naruto, that's that's the nine tail. Those are the beasts that are inside that need to be integrated. That it's everywhere. But I'm starting. I asked myself a question the previous days as I was thinking about the hero journey and how to, if it can be used today and how can you use it today, because some say that life is like a video game. You can use it as a video game, and it's not bad to use it as a video game. However, it has the same rewards as a video game nowadays. It's just a waste of time in my sometimes, but it doesn't bring you something back. Like, you could fight demons, you can learn how to let's say bring something from the darkness, bring something back, go at it, go at it with your full thing, and when you return, you are required, actually you are obligated to share those things that you find out with people that don't actually need that, or will use that to sell it on OnlyFans, or I don't know, places where people sell it so they can get more money for some kind of reason, just so other people can get more money and waste more energy, because we are actually wasting way too much energy on everything instead of actually optimizing our energy waste and energy diffusion into actually either creating something, fixing something, doing something, like even smoking. All right, like you know me, this is my biggest enemy. Smoking is my friend and my enemy at the same time. Smoking, poverty, stress are four. Did I say four, or did I say three of them? Anyway, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the three musketeers, which are usually four, but sometimes the thing is that they're not the enemy. They're the adversary, but not the enemy. Because Lucifer or Satan, which one was it against Jesus? The one that was playing with Jesus, but never harmed Jesus, did he? He was just tempting Jesus into doing some stuff. He was making bets with God to do some stuff, but he was never able to control Jesus's actions, was he? He was just giving some pretty good arguments. He was using his language. He was using the Bible as well to make him do things to show his godliness. But again, he was the adversary at the end. And with the adversary, to integrate the adversary, which Nietzsche said Jesus was not doing, because Jesus was just being a Christian, being a God, being son of God, but not being of this world, not actually being active in this world. He was just accepting what it is, not really focusing on the true matters of the thing, as he didn't come here to rule. He didn't came to rule. He was just living. He was doing his best. He was trying to move on his own as life continued. He wanted less pain. And yeah, that was understanding. And of course, he was a good neighbor. And if he integrated that adversary, if he was able to integrate in himself that, he would have been God. But he didn't have the time, did he? Because there were some Israelites or Jew. Was he a Jew or Israelite? Anyway, he was uncircumcised, but he was in Jerusalem where the Jews lived, right? He was coronated as the king of the Jews as he was put on the cross, right? Now, he didn't manage to integrate that, and of course, if he didn't manage to integrate that, the whole people started doing horrendous things to him. And that was a thing that he had not calculated. I think that's the biggest miscalculation in history of Jesus, is that he thought that he forgot to put into account that most humans are animals, and they are going to respond to stories even though they are not true. They're just described in a certain manner, and if they're described in a certain manner, then they will feel better taking a certain decision, even if it looks horrible and it feels horrible. Same as that video that I showed you with the pigs in the slaughterhouse. Because if you're setting them unconscious, then that means you're a human being, a good human being, and you are helping these pigs as their lungs are being burned and they have no air and all the things that are not beautiful. And Jesus forgot about that thing where humans can do and become quite savage when it comes to humans that have not integrated their shadow, to humans that think they have the right to choose to do for other people to do unspeakable things, for that way their guilt will be remote and will be taken on by someone else. It is indeed a very grim 1st of May, isn't it? But it is a truth as many of you have to accept, have to actually integrate this, so you can know who surrounds you. and who you are at the end, because it's not just that I am the one that's being put on the cross, but I am at the same time the one that put someone on the cross, right? That's the whole thing, because everyone wants to be good, but hardly anyone can accept that we're bad as well. We are not doing things, and the more we understand that how bad we can get and how bad we can be, not bad but vicious or unthinking or disconnected from the spirit, the spirit which brought us here, our decoupling of it, which brought us to 2023, where you just have to go to a 9 to 5 and hope that you also wake up tomorrow. And when you'll wake up tomorrow, many of you, and I can put this to a vote, it will be a simple yes or no. You can answer it. It's anonymous as always. Yes or no. Here we go. Do you... Wait, let me just remove this. Anyone who is watching at this point can tell me if you're waiting for tomorrow morning. Are you waiting for tomorrow morning just to wake up your eyes? You can't hardly wait for tomorrow morning to wake up your eyes, to open your eyes. It's the moment you're waiting for, to open your eyes once again and start living. I'm quite certain that many of you aren't, and same as I can't find that. Oh my god, I have to do all these things today. I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna go to sleep, and tomorrow, just opening up my eyes. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Oh, it's gonna be a miracle. It's gonna be so amazing. Oh, so amazing to wake up tomorrow. To wake up tomorrow and start living the dream. Are you living the dream? And oh, shift one. Oh, that must sound wonderful. It is. You're doing it for the civilization. In shift one, waking up at 4 a.m. just to be able to afford living for one more month. Now again, it's quite the challenge, and there is another thing. Even if you're let's say rich, people that are rich and don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. Let's say that they have the money for one way or the other, and I still think they are not waking up or doing something very, very, are not excited for the next day. Some of them might be, since one of those days is deemed to be a payday. But even they know that when they wake up, they still have to keep on the grind. You have to keep on the grind every day until I don't know what happens, because this is what I don't like about the grind. Same as I don't like about the gym. It's just that it's still not looking like an end game, like a direction. It's just a thing that you're gaining, but it still arrives at the same point as always. In that cave, you against yourself, trying to get better, trying to outwit the one in front of you when he's training all his life to outwit you. That's the grind. That's the grind over there. You're always against someone that it's better than you. And someone that's better than you at things that you don't even care about, but you have to care about for some reason, because well, this is how we've been brought up, and have to participate in that game, because otherwise you are not part of the society. But no one is part of this society, and no one has to do anything anymore. But at the same time, they are chained. We are chained to doing some things because of certain things that haven't been properly done in the past. And this is not the only thing that it is to accept. Wait, where are they? Where are they? Because there are some other things as well. As you know, I am not a big fan of abortions. I'm not a big fan of abortions. You know that. I am a good proponent of delivering the baby and giving it to the woods, putting him in the woods, and let the gods take care of its fate. If you are not willing to take care of him, if you feel like you're not going to do it, just do it there. But Russia is one of the leading, I think is the leading one in abortion rate per 1,000 women. Just check it out. Russia is 54 per 1,000 women are doing abortions. Our Romania is like in the 6th place. That's another part of thing. It seems like this happens a lot. These abortions happen a lot in the Slavic areas and in the, I don't know, in the poor areas where something is not right. Something is not working properly. Like they are doing stupid things.
This is a recovery.
And hey, if we're gonna start the month looking at disturbing things, let's do it, because that way we might integrate it faster, so we can get to funnier things later in the month. Because I gave you bikinis, now we have to also be aware of other things that are occurring in the world.
Every room at a Russian abortion clinic. It is full on most days. Ekaterina is 22 years old, but many of the girls who come here are much younger, and it's not their first time.
I prefer to deal with this on my own. I don't want anyone to be responsible for this. There are girls in this hospital who have been here before. They know what time they should come, what they should bring, and that they will get tea and cakes after they've had the procedure.
It's like going to the for these girls is the same procedure sometimes, like going to the dentist. Okay, you know how children receive some lollipops after doing this. This is what they're doing as well.
Sex education is not taught in Russian schools, and doctors say the government is struggling to change attitudes on abortion, common during Soviet times.
It's harder for older mothers. They think that contraception is bad for the health. They often think it's better to get an abortion.
Between 30 to 60,000 teenage girls come to this clinic in St. Petersburg every year. Not all of them are pregnant, but many who are decide to have an abortion. The head of the clinic is eager to stress things are changing.
You'll no longer find a person who had 24 abortions and is proud of it.
Yeah, hey, at least that's what's going on. At least that's what's going on.
Russia's Orthodox Church has long campaigned to ban abortion. This anti-abortion rights campaigner reads from the Bible outside another St. Petersburg clinic. The graphic images here are an indication of just how passionate the anti-abortion campaign is in Russia, driven by the Russian Orthodox Church. And this sign reads, "They kill babies here." Alexei comes here to protest every weekend.
Baby Jesus. And what if baby Jesus didn't come? He wouldn't have been subjected to a crucifixion in the most holiest of days in front of God. And would that be all right? Wouldn't that be all right? Wouldn't that save some energy for us to actually not have the impression that humans can love their neighbors, should love their neighbors, that they are actually doing something good, and to know that they are actually always, most of the time, doing some weird, freaky shit.
He blames the medical establishment.
Sometimes they are misled by their gynecologist. That's why I think it's very important to show images, maybe not pleasant, very horrible images, but it's a documentary image to show the truth, what the abortion is.
The government last year introduced a law banning abortion beyond 22 weeks of pregnancy. Doctors say Russia's abortion rate is having a drastic effect on fertility among young women. These women say they have the right to choose, but changing the attitude that abortion is a birth control option could mean tackling a mindset stuck in Russia's Soviet past. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera, St. Petersburg.
And, you've seen that contraception is still declared better than abortion. However, hey, what about abstention? What about... of course you cannot, in today's age, promote such a thing like abstinence. It is not possible anymore. Anyone knows it. Abstinence is dead. Even though sometimes it should be promoted, especially in your beginning years into forming into a fully fledged adult, as you're going into the workers' market. That's the point where you would learn the balance and the imbalances of power. As of course you will have people over you and telling you what to do. Some people will like that, and some people do like that, telling them what to do and being treated in certain ways and at the same time coming home and expecting a different treatment, or expecting the same treatment from your husband or from your other half. Because my favorite part of the modern day era is the conditioning we receive towards being under someone and always listening to someone, like they act like they know things, while sometimes we know they don't know, or don't even they know they don't know, but at the same time you cannot say anything because, hey, they're paying you. It's quite normal. It's quite normal. Now for the men, usually they do take it if they have to, in case you have, let's say, some financial troubles, like you are taking those in the butt, let's say. You are taking those mistreatments. But at the same time, there is the other gender that is getting used, and they start loving that mistreatment and think that is pretty cool to be. That is the way to be in today's age. Just under someone, always under someone telling you what to do in exchange for money. It is the old rat race. The whole objective of humans nowadays to have a lot of money, right? Enough money to, I don't know to what, but to everything. Don't get me wrong, I do want money as well. I do like money as well. I never said I didn't, because I would be a fool to say that you can live without money nowadays. And money as a concept is not bad. It was actually supposed to be worth something. Like it was supposed to be a promise, or like an IOU, like I'm giving you this service and this part of my time to get this for something, this part of someone else's time, so I can get that screen, right? That screen, that phone, that new thing. That was supposed to be your time. But now, I don't think you've noticed, but prices have been going up lately, haven't they? They have been going up just a little bit. Every week, just a little bit. Another new thing is getting more expensive. And meat is getting more expensive. And the rations are getting smaller because there are many products, many food products that are, of course, having less and less nutrients as they're being processed more and more to be sent faster. Like we all know by this time that the same, even the vegetables, even the meat might not have the same nutrients today as it had like 10 years ago. The same quantity does not have the same quality as it used to, as now you are paying for the size instead of the contents. More is better, right? it is another one of those tricky things that are happening in the background. One of those tricky lies, like if you see a great big tomato, it does not mean that it has the same nutrients as a smaller tomato from the countryside. You get me? You get me. You might not get me, but as long as you think there's some tomato sauce into that pizza, into that pepperoni pizza, you might think that you are receiving some nutrients for that. I might think I'm doing that. I never considered pizza to be a good let's say nutrient provider, but I do know that all that dough keeps you not hungry. But there's a difference between receiving a good amount of nutrients and not being hungry, because these are all culminating. You have to integrate those nutrients as well. You either integrate the nutrients or integrate the quantity. That's the thing. And again, we're coming to the big thing and the horrifying things where you have to get the most out of the food you're eating. All the things you're doing. And you might be wondering, what does this have to do with the abortions? Well, the abortions as well, you're using some kind of energy to do some things, and you're not using the energy to abstain from things, or at least to have some pull-out game over there. It's the energy is used only for getting in, and then instead of being wasted into the ground, as it should be if you're not willing to have any children or anything serious, you're just going with the flow. After you're not caring anymore. Nobody cares anymore after they got in, do they? The energy that is used for getting in. Afterwards, it's just the energy used by the women, and this is where they're tricked. This is where the girls are tricked into using energy to terminate a natural process of the human body. Now, I understand that taking a pregnancy to the end, it is hard and it is expensive. However, this would also give another chance for the DNA test to be done, and the children to be given to their fathers, at least. Wouldn't that be a good set of action? So if the father is not taking the child, he could always be taking into the woods for, not always, in the first week. We came across and accepted the fact that you have 1 week to decide if you want to keep the baby or let that energy go into the nature, back to the nature. Because I know it's radical. But if you're going to if you're going to have a baby and you want just the money from it, then you're not going to give to your baby. You just want to get from the father of the baby. And that's not a good use of energy. It's like smoking. Instead of giving myself the energy to accept all this shit that's working out in the world, I am actually sedating. I'm actually trying to kill the part that can accept all of this. And this is what addiction does. Usually it's trying to kill or sedate or remove all the energy from that part of yourself that can handle all this. Because that's what the body does sometimes. That's what the body does when it can't accept where it's living by. So before we continue into more disturbing things with abortions, as we're gonna take a short break because I need to get some water because my throat is quite dry and I don't know if yours is as well, but always remember to hydrate because it's always good to hydrate and it's a long life, so why not at least be hydrated while you're living in this life. Alright, so while we're doing this, let's take a quick break. Right, a 5-minute break. Where is the text? Where is the text? Is this the one? Okay. Let me just search for a song so I can have about this. Do you know a song? I think I have this one. It's a water break. Today is a water break. But maybe we'll get into this little by little. As you know, we played Skillet in the beginning. And now we're gonna play Netflix, which I love until a point, and they seem like they integrated the shadows a bit. So let's listen to this song as we go into the break and get some water, and then we'll continue back with the world of and what's happening in my head today.
Display including you. Yeah, I feel every day is just there's too much that's going on, I don't know what to do. Paralyzed by options in this world, can't pick and choose. Yeah, everybody's life is on display, including you. Yeah, I feel every day is just the same, stuck in a loop. I need some variety, I'm sick of this anxiety. I'm sick of this society, they make us feel a rivalry. Compare ourselves to others, but we all got different mothers. We were raised in different structures, so we're different, it's no wonder, yeah. I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time. Something I look back and say that was a great time. Cause man, I just hate when the years pass by the wayside. Yeah.
watch out now. I figured something out, what this whole life's about, yeah. It's not the goal, it's the journey. Wasted emotion is worry. I'll stop being in a hurry, and I'll just enjoy what I'm doing. Keep pushing forward and moving. Appreciate the improvement, yeah. I was so stuck on a goal, was losing sight of my soul. Need to enjoy getting old and be so present. I don't know if there's a heaven, but I know I wanna get in. And sometimes I feel a presence, energy in a direction, so I follow intuition. It took me to a musician, now I'm on a different mission, to help others with afflictions. Now I'm not lost inside, I finally have seemed to find who I am in this life, and I found a way to feel alive. I'm not
All right. Should we wait a few more minutes? Let's wait 2 more minutes because it was only 3 minutes. Just gonna put in the background some Jesus prayer. I'm not saying anything for another 2 minutes. I'm just repenting for my sins as I there goes the 5-minute mark over there. Here's the thing. Into this part of integration of the shadow, of the Jungian shadow, it is another process and important piece to be sober of any addiction, as you're discovering the new world you're living in. And the bad news is that many people think we should ascend to heaven, and that might be true. However, I do consider that to be a job, and not just a job, but to be a thing that, Pokaites can do. What do you call the people that are with Jesus and are very into Jesus and have not been touched by the claws of death or suffering or the other deadly sins. Now, for the rest of us, it is a thing and a reason why many of us are compelled into consuming and sedating ourselves for our mind and body cannot actually accept and integrate the fact that we might actually be in hell. And I'm not saying that this is a horrible place or a place of no escape, or we're actually suffering because we did something, because we might have done something. But the thing is, this gives us with an opportunity, as long as you accept that you might be in hell. Because even in hell, as everywhere that consciousness exists, it can understand the rules of its existence and how that place works, like the mechanisms of the place. That's why I'm starting this let's say this journey into our descent into hell, Dante's hell, because there are many signs that can lead to us being more in hell than between very loving humans. And it's actually quite interesting to know that, hey, if you're not in hell, we might be going in hell, because hey, we're already doing some slot over here, as we're not doing a lot of things. We're not creating. But to create, you need to understand a little bit the rules, what you can do, and actually use all you have to its potential. That's the way to get at least to purgatory, I guess. And that's the impression I have. But it's not even bad of living in hell, because you can understand and navigate through that as well. And Dante did that. Many of the philosophers did that. By actually seeing what's true, what's actually happening, and how it is described. Because otherwise, I don't see how
abortion is liberation. It's freedom. It's a choice. It's hard. It's easy. It's an enigma. It's all of these things wrapped into one.
do they look like they want to take care of children? They can provide love for children. By photographing what they really look like. Oh my God.
The way that our society has depicted abortion, it has never been a liberation. It has always been stigmatized. Being a project that doesn't hold back, that shows the blood, shows the pain, really pulling back the curtain of what abortion really looks like, I feel like goes a long way in validating those feelings that people have had for centuries.
She's going to show us a little bit about the abortion. And apparently it's a liberation.
During my abortion, I had doulas with me, and one of them snapped pictures of my abortion experience, and I was able to use those photographs to process my experience, to see things that I had missed, and to share my story when I was ready to do so. I had no idea what to expect when I was going into my abortion. And so we figured that if we were able to photograph people's medical abortions, that we would be able to put the pictures out into the world and let people know what to expect.
The project highlights how each person's abortion story is different. Now, abortion is nobody's choice. Each person has their rights. Here's the thing, I do not like the processes. Some of these processes, like you either abort it, same as the Australian way of harvesting the meat. This is the same way of doing abortion. It's a little fucked up. Because again, you could always just leave them in the woods. You should be able to do that. It should be legal to do that. In the first week, of course. And afterwards, hey, I cannot raise this baby. Like, you can't make me.
We've seen lightheartedness, joking, fun, and then we've seen prayers, we've seen tears, we've seen regret, and some of those things are fleeting, but they're still present for some people. And there's so many photographs that I love from the project. One specifically is a picture of a pregnant woman in a bathtub, and she has a little whale on her water spout because it's the bathtub that she bathes her children in. And I think that that's really poignant because most people that have abortions are already parents, and that's a statistic that gets overlooked a lot of times. There's also one that sticks out that she's putting a heat pad on her stomach and
smoking a cigarette,
smoking a blunt for pain management, and I think that that's just always an amazing photograph as well.
And of course, I know a person who aborted like 3 times the past 5 years, and I know the reason. I think it's okay. Yes, the reasons of, let's say, having a pre-screen test and those not coming out okay, that is very, very troublesome. Again, that is when abortion is okay-ish, I guess, but I still want the earth to feed on that,
To show
on that pain that is around, because it might not be aware, the earth might not be aware of how the genes are going.
just the different types of relief that people can get from different types of things.
But I'm not referring here to actual reason, like medical reasons, where one of them is in danger. But I'm referring to abortions as a thing promoted to, like, you're doing an abortion so you can still, let's say, go out to parties and drink. Do you find that a good reason to continue to search for another person like my most fucked up idea, and I think that will be a great idea, like one of the greatest ideas if implemented, but it would be, as it has its shadow, it would be a monstrous idea as well, because you know how radical I can get with these things. Like, many times they say that if someone is getting forced, like someone is being forced, like illegally forced, like the most unholy of things, the disgusting type of using force to procreate, not to procreate but to handle your needs. I believe that those persons that have been the victims to this should deliver the baby, and that baby to be raised by, again, either given to the gods or raised by the unholiest ways that you can give it to pedophiles. Like, that will satiate the pedophile's thirst, wouldn't it? Or give it to gay people, because usually the people that are doing this forced conceptions are not a lot. They're very frustrated with women and do not like gay people. And I would want those baby to be raised by gay people, eat pork, just make their seed, like all their beliefs, be on the other side of the spectrum. What they regard as holy and would not touch that child, and what they regard as the most sinful would be promoted to that child. I know it's radical, but I guess that will help a certain demographic stop their thing, because there are many times that some people let's say, do not respect the woman and are very, very thirsty. So thirsty that they cannot control themselves, so the shadow is taking over them. They cannot accept the fact that they have to do certain things. They have to create. They have to integrate the fact that they want to have intercourse and probably be appreciated by women, but they don't want to integrate that. That's why they're forcing themselves. They will use force instead of time. And it came up to me, but I can't find it right now. This horrible video of this Pakistan, I think it was Pakistan or Afghanistan, where they were just battling just at the sight of a woman, just to touch her, just to rip her clothes off, she has been safely been escorted out of the situation, but it must have been terrifying for her. And I would not mind if the children of those men would become like this. That's a boy, by the way. I think it's a boy. But yeah. I don't know. But this is actually a part of grooming, because that's how grooming is. Now, I wouldn't mind if this, if you are going to risk and have forced sex with a woman, then your kid should be reasoned by trans people. I guess that's how it should be, right? And at the same time, no, I'm not showing you this because it's a white girl asking for attention, and we know how they can be. I can't find that video, but talking about white girls, let's descend a little bit. Let's detach a little bit as we're going to see how the world looks after a Taylor Swift concert in a subway station.
When the Taylor Swift concert ends at the same time you're on your way home.
Just look at that.
I'll take the street. Wow! Oh, hell no! I feel sorry for y'all. Hell no! We about to get off. Wait. Don't come on yet. Don't come on yet.
They look like zombies.
What's up, y'all? Look at this girl. She's stepping up. She's like, I gotta see.
One second. Careful.
I get it.
Don't be stepping up.
When the Taylor Swift concert...
But you know what we didn't do, right? Before we descend once again, or should we do it a little later after continuing? After talking about the abortion, come on, we have a just so you know what happens in a short, as we like it, because we're new here. Look at abortion, how they are done, what is happening in our civilization, because some of us don't wanna take that responsibilities, because why would they? You open you put the tube in, and then you suck it up, and then you scrape the body parts. That is quite a picture in 30 seconds of a horrifying thing, which sometimes is done just because someone had too much to drink. Yeah, it's like plumbing, but in nature. After a bad mistake, after being liberated, that's the pinnacle of civilization. It's not wanting to have babies, and that's all right if you don't want to have babies. You, at the same time, if you don't want to have that, you should actually protect yourself. But let's be honest, many do not like the condom or accept the drawbacks of the contraception pills. And that's the way it is marketed. These things are marketed. They are lowering the testosterone because you're not integrating, you are seeing, you are witnessing a horrifying thing, and you're not even acknowledging it, the severity of the thing, of how these things are. So if the pills decrease the brain size a little bit, I guess that's alright, as long as you know that you don't have to be, you don't want to make children for the time being, and you want to have lots of unprotected sex. Or if you don't know, if you don't like the condoms, or if you don't know how the pull-out game works for the other person. That's one of the things. But these kinds of things, as they're done nowadays, like many are doing it just because they wanted to have fun after they were drunk for 2 or 3 times, a little too drunk. Both parties were a little too drunk, but still want to continue doing that and aspiring for more drunken nights and fun nights until the point where they become satisfied, I guess. Which, let's be honest, it's not going to happen anytime very soon. Now, since we've shown this and the abortion thing and the Taylor Swift thing and this is not interesting, we should also pray before we get into the next subject, right? We should pray for all the wasted energy, all the killed energy, all the subdued energy that lowers the levels of testosterone today, because everyone is helpless against this this thing that is in front of us, a part of our shadow as well. It contains a part of our shadow as well. Let's be honest. And it decreases the testosterone levels, it decreases the ability to bond, the ability to create something worthwhile, the ability to go on a road, to know that you have a road to go on and it does not lead to just nothingness. It does require a lot of strength, and some are more powerful than others, but that strength, if being able to be drawn, it could increase everyone's well-being. But until then, let us pray for that energy and let's use it for creation of the future, because we have to. Otherwise, we won't get a proper ending to this story.
There is much to be skeptical of in this world, so it no longer surprises me to learn how many people don't really believe in anything. What's the point? For many of us, the road is a difficult one, but the path is always there for us to follow, no matter how many times we may fall. The good news is that we can help you find your way back. Naturally, some days are harder than others, but I must try. We all have doubts. The light of the mind alone cannot burn away all darkness. Think on it and look in your heart. It will be for the best. When the walls come tumbling down, when you lose everything you have, you always have family. The fire that had kept me alive was love. Their love. God's love. Right. You're not so certain. Fair enough. We all go through periods of darkness. Of course. In a world filled with misery and uncertainty, it is a great comfort to know that, in the end, there is light in the darkness. In such times we can turn to the Lord, but it's good to have friends. And the good Lord knows there's much to be done here. You're a good neighbor to us. Thank you. Until then, God be with you.
God be with you. Now, I know I always forget about this echo thing because I'm always watching the desktop audio, but forget that the prayer as well has its own internal audio. So there are two audio tracks going at the same time, which is why it's going with the robotic voice. Now, as we're getting into the last part of the stream, it's not gonna be very long, as some of you might have to go to work tomorrow and you're not excited yet, and you won't be, because this stream does not mean the end of the story, because where we are going, it's always deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, I started actually by talking about the framing of things and how framing and putting two concepts together does not make a concept, but it makes a broken concept. And many of the times it is meant for you to react so they can use that reaction to gain something or to further a certain point of view. And the truth is getting lost into the middle, into the cracks, because some things might be true, but not how it is framed, like the feminist agenda over here, as we are shown here, a meme, well, a try of a meme, which is a dude on, this is the classical dude that is desperate and is looking at barely legal teens, and they're still legal, they're over 18, just turned 18 today, and they're thirsty for these barely legal teens, of course. Who wouldn't be? But at the same time, we have a different man here, like the judging one, who has an opinion. Like, I don't know, man, you're 14 years old. 48 years old, sorry. I just think it's a bit weird to be dating someone who is only 19. There's plenty of beautiful women out there at the more appropriate age bracket, probably wanted to say. And then we have the response, but it's legal, bro, it's 100% legal. If I was a creep, I would be in jail right now. See, I'm completely normal. Now we see different frames added to this scenario. Like, first of all, if you're on Reddit searching for barely legal teens, you're not actually dating a 19-year-old. And you're not searching them there to date them. You're searching them. If you're searching on barely legal teens, I guess, you're searching not to date. Dating is the last place. But as a 14-year-old, dating someone who is only 19, 48 years old, sorry. It might be a little weird, but I don't think what will be the weird part. I don't think what would be the weird part. Like, I think they trying to make this Leonardo DiCaprio. I think they're trying to make it Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't see it weird at all, as we've seen what the appropriate age bracket is doing. Why would you want to, when you can just enjoy the presence of a new adult that hasn't been ran through years and years of ever-changing persons, let's say it. But first of all, it makes you think, like, what this person judges is important. Second of all, that it is right, that what he's thinking. Like, I see no actual, and there's plenty of beautiful women at 40, 48. Really? We talked about the difference between beauty and hotness, and you can, as you are learned and taught and have your own style in living, you can be beautiful. Beauty is quite rare, and hotness and sexual availability is overused now rather than beauty. And at the same time, it is, if you don't believe this, then you will see this person like acting like if it's legal, then that's the only reason it will do. Like, it will remind us of Jack Murphy. We know that type that would describe that if the grass was green, he will play ball. As to put it, like, he would pass through the, if it would be allowed, he would go lower. But I don't think any man would actually want to go for someone that is so young that is incapable of making appropriate decision. Like, you don't have to groom them. People can still be mature at 18 and 19, can't actually understand and be able to live. Like, one of my let's say requirements that should have been put, it would not be the age of like 18, because some people can be dumb even at 48 years old, 40 years old, as they can be at 18 years old. All right, they can have the same dumbness. Yeah, the age after that doesn't matter. The thing is, in my opinion, if a person is able to, let's say, work and sustain themselves without using their beauty, and by actually using their brain for an entire year, then that should be the legal age. Because if they can use their brain to work and sustain themselves financially for an entire year without using their beauty, like just by using their brain, doing some actual work and being able to do that for an entire year, could understand how it is to live in this world. Now, I don't mean doing modeling, doing OnlyFans thing, doing sex things. No. That should be always over. Doing these things, I want. It would be cool if you would have at least 25. Oh, 28. How cool would it be if you should be 28 to do OnlyFans? Like, when you're reaching the wall, you should start doing OnlyFans and stuff. How cool would that be? But since it is at 18 years old, after 1 year of being an adult and knowing what you want, and as a woman you can get it most of the time if you know how to play your cards right. It is still okay to be with a 19-year-old woman if you are 48 and have nothing else to do. But it's not because it's legal, but because she is mature enough to understand the exchanges and the prices that are happening, and sometimes and most of the times relationships today have become transactional. And I guess we have to accept that as well. We don't we? It's nothing more than a transaction, an investment. It used to be investment before, but now, since the games are changing all the time, women figured out they're getting out of this game. They're not investing anymore. They want to be invested in. And of course, people are not investing in anything anymore because the market is crashing every damn year and you're losing money. Now, do I want to say that they're living as MGTOW is the solution? I don't think so. If going your own way is a solution, however, just to isolate yourself, I still don't think it's a solution. We can see here, even in the Kabbalah revealed, we can find out that we still need to make connections. Wait.
If I help humanity, how necessary is it to interact with other humans? If I help humanity in some way, can I get away with being a recluse the rest of the time?
No, you can't get away with it. The purpose of our existence is the integration, the reintegration of the shattered perception of self into the whole, identifying with the whole of creation, which is done through the connection with other people. Our consciousness and good comes from that. There is no good that we can do without involvement with people, because it will not have the correct intention. The intention has to be to heal the rifts of the shattered perception of reality between all people, and that's done by your love. It's not done by some objective missile of so-called good that's sent at a target. It never gets there. As a matter of fact, it does more damage than good. Your heart and your struggle with the egoistic intention is what elevates you. It doesn't just elevate you. It elevates all of reality, because you're not separated from reality. But the idea of being a recluse just means I'm waiting to start the work for which I was created. I'm putting off dealing with the purpose of my existence. We all have the tendency to be reclusive. Nobody wants to do this work. Everybody is made out of the same opposite matter to the spiritual. But a world that works only happens when each of us take on the responsibility of making our intention as real as it possibly can be, of going against functioning above our nature, even if we don't like it, even in the midst of trying to make this kind of loving connection with others. And I don't just mean love in kumbaya. This is to function over disconnection and hate. Because the force of nature integrates everything. Even when you look at natural settings and ecology, you'll see that everything is integrated. But if you on the macro, absolutely everything is managed and integrated in a like a ballet and a symphony. But if you look at the individual relationships between species and so on, you're going to see one eats the other and so on. But that's all part of the dance. There is a love that functions and connects the whole thing into a higher purpose. It's not measured on that broken level. Our work is measured on the integral level, on functioning, learning how to use that dislike, hatred, and disconnection, and regardless of that, still function towards the whole. Love, doing good to the good and the bad, which is the highest quality of the Creator. Love can only function when there's hate. We all have to achieve this thing that you feel only you have to achieve.
And here's the thing. You are not allowed to even explore hate anymore. Like, if you don't like something, that means you are expressing hate speech. If you don't understand something, nowadays, you might be blocked, you might be thrown away because you are hating what others are loving. But you have to understand that there is hate as well. I have to understand that there is hate as well. Well, I know there is some hate as well. I'm trying not to have some hate towards others, but I guess it is indispensable, because the thing that you're hating in others might be a thing that I hate in myself as well. It's an opportunity of learning and an opportunity to reestablish a connection with the spirit in such a way that we can proceed further. And one of the hates I have is how they're doing the gassing of the animals in Australia, for example. But there's much more to that. There is a lot of hate going around, and the more I say this word, the more the algorithm just pushes me down, because there is no hate anywhere. Hate is not allowed, but hate is actually present. And many just try to say that, no, there is only love. How many times have we listened like, oh my God, life is so beautiful. I don't understand why you don't like it. It's full of ups and downs. But some of us do not see those ups. Hate is okay, yeah. But sometimes you might be outcasted as bad for hating certain animal behaviors that are part of us, and usually they're hated in the moment when there is nothing else than a good reason to actually say something against that hate, so you're actually hating on the others. life is not beautiful always, indeed. And some people do not have the ups, but the ups. And that's why, if there are no ups, if you ever consider that recently life has no ups, that means you have to go down. And by down I mean inside. And from inside to go outside. More and more outside there. We're living under the same sun, under the same moon, part of the same two planets that once collided in theory, which created the life force necessary and the energy necessary for the life force to begin as a mirroring of the beginning of our planet, of our solar system, of ourselves, as above, so below. Now, as it is time for me to also engage in this thing and accept that I'm living in hell, and probably a hell created by me, painted by others, but created by me. I am obligated at this point to descend into the 9 circles of hell and see if I can get further into purgatory. Normally, everyone, as in any hero's journey, you would meet an old man that would guide you through, an old wise man that would guide you through, but I've already become too old to think that old man will appear. So I guess I have to do it myself. I have to pioneer this thing and learn these levels of reality, so I can go through them, and if I manage to come out, maybe guide others. Be the old man that guides those that cannot go through it without the old man coming into to help, because I looked a lot. I looked everywhere for that mentor. You can always search into every movie or story that has the hero's journey model, as every normal story nowadays has a hero's journey. You know, Lord of the Rings has Gandalf, Harry Potter has that old dude. What was the name with the phoenix? What was the old dude's names in the Harry Potter one? Dumbledore. Everywhere there is an old man just guiding them a little because they don't understand. So if you're not willing to become the old man that would guide others to towards purgatory at least, or if not towards just mastering a quarter of hell or your domain, so you can help those that will pass when they come to you. Then if you're not willing to do that, you can always subscribe, as I will go through it on my own, and you could follow me and learn maybe how to get through each one of these circles, as we will understand how to become holy once again, or at least become masters of our own place in hell without having the intention of arriving to hell. Because if you think about it properly, even if you think you're already going to hell, even if you're thinking it doesn't exist or things like that, you can always use the same... Wait! Sorry about that. You can always use those 10 commandments, even from the Bible, even to master hell as well. Because let's be honest, do not kill is one of the commandments, and it has a lot of sense, since if you will kill someone and arrive in hell, that means you will have another enemy right there that will try to kill you. Or you have an enemy right here that will try to kill you, right? Or that would be angry at you for killing you. And you would not be able to go into the journey properly, because you will know that there will be someone that has been killed by you, and that energy will follow you. And if you look at even from the other side of the view, even for as a guide towards living in hell, you can still use the Bible in the same manner properly, and that's the funny part. And with those two mirrored points of view, we can embark in this journey of what the fuck is happening in the world, and how do we get to enjoy living in this world with our neighbors. Because at the end, Jesus knew only one thing: love thy neighbor as you love yourself. And if you do that, and by neighbor he means the ones that are close to you, and for you to do that, they have to do that as well. And if you do that, you can count on them in your journey through hell, through paradise, to whatever you want. You can still have something to go back to, towards to, even in your descent to the 9 circles of hell and the 7 levels of terraces of purgatory. And who knows, maybe there's something even darker over there. Something even darker. But let's see what we got from tonight's stream. Let's see what we managed to create. Let's see what we managed to create, what we managed to learn. As well, gonna do another alchemical process. Because, yeah, the stream is almost there. We can end it here. You have to go to work tomorrow. I have to go to work tomorrow. And let's be honest, we're gonna be super excited to just open our eyes tomorrow morning, isn't it? Aren't we? Oh, we're super excited. Oh, I can't wait for the demons to start coming in when the morning comes. But if you have a song, this is the time to recommend it over here as an ending song for this today's stream. So let's see, what do we get here? Then this is the final result of the integration of the shadow. It is said to make a person holy and whole altogether, as light and darkness will create not just chaos and won't be at each other's throat, but it will become night and day, because you cannot appreciate the night without being in the light all day, and you can't appreciate the day after the dark nights, after the starry nights, because that's what Radha did. He was one person in the night, a ram in the night, a sun in the morning. But we'll get into that further and further as we descend into this circle of the unknown. You are right, though. Enya is the song to go, and we can go with the classic Bodhicea or Only Time. We can go with Only Time, as you can go to sleep peacefully tonight and have the best of rest. Drink some water before sleeping, because that will help your sleep more. And drink some water when you wake up. Maybe that will help. So, as always, I'll be sitting in the chat if you want to say hi, because I don't know every one of you that's watching. I would like to little by little learn, and if you feel like you want to join me in this journey, always be there. Drink water to wake up to pee. Indeed, drink some water. Not a lot of. Don't drink more than a glass of water if you're already hydrated. This should be a long process. Like a long process to have. Because drinking 2, or let's say you drink a liter of water into the night, you're not getting yourself hydrated. However, it is better to have water in your system that won't make you feel hungry in the middle of the night. And do not forget to like this stream if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to continue this journey, as we will move to the last phase. And I wish you a good night, and thank you very much for joining me into this